Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA Finals is upon us, and if I told you that Game 1 would end in an 18-point win for the Boston Celtics, would you believe me? The energy Boston came out with was simply unmatched by the Mavericks. As you can see times where Luka was calling for a sub, they couldn't get any shots around the basket to go in, and with elementary ball security, the Mavs turned the ball over to give Jaylen Brown this crowd-rocking slam.
Brown on the steal and slam!
There were key moments that put the momentum in the Celtics' favor early, but how exactly did the Boston Celtics win the first chess match of the NBA Finals? To open the game up, you can see the problems the Celtics 5-out offense can cause, as once his pass is made to Tatum, Gafford has to get out to Al Horford since he's capable of knocking down that 3-ball, and just being undisciplined in high-stakes environment, you give up a slam to get the game started. When coming back down the other way, we all know the lob game with the Mavericks was a major talking point, so to address that, the Celtics put Jason Tatum on the Mavs big man to take away any pick and roll lob action. Now instead of looking for a lob, Luka sends it down to Gafford, assuming this will be an easy post up, but with Al Horford helping over, it makes Gafford kick it out. This is the look the Celtics want to give up, but this time, they must pay up. Now remember what I said about the energy being unmatched, because the C's come back immediately and Jrue Holiday walks right into a 3-pointer, and then the next time down the floor, the Celtics not only get this 3-point lift from Jaylen Brown with 10:25 on the clock, but with relentless rebounding, the Celtics get 5 opportunities this time down the floor, with the last one coming with 9:50 on the clock, and although they failed to capitalize, it shows you just how hungry they were. With the game all tied up, the Mavs go to a high pick and roll with Luka, and watch closely how the Celtics play these. When Horford is in the game, they opt into switching the screen, which he doesn't do a bad job containing Luka, and forces him into a tough shot and close for the miss. With the Mavs up forward, Jaylen Brown pushes up the floor quickly, draws 2 defenders with shooters all around, so when he kicks it out to Tatum, it forces Jones Jr. to get out, but this leaves Al wide open in the corner with Gafford having a very long closeout, and it's a straight money ball. Directly after this 3, Brown stays locked in, giving Luka a ton of pressure, causing him to get the ball poked out. It's now a run out for Jaylen Brown, and here we go.
As Jaylen Brown gets the easy 2.
With the Celtics now having the momentum in the lead, the Mavs go to a pick and roll involving Horford, and since Jrue Holiday lunges out, Horford plays back, allowing Kyrie to drive right into him, and just shows him that this won't be easy as Irving misses the tough jumper. It's crazy how quick energy can shift in the game of basketball, because with the Celtics having 5 guys out who can shoot, and the Mavs only having 1 rim protector, it's hard to not help over when one of your guys get beat, but then again, if you do help, well, you're either helping off on a 3-point shooter or someone who is capable of making a play. Take this play for an example. With the Mavs having Gafford on Tatum and Al spaced out to the 3, this makes the only shot blocker for the Mavs be far away from the rim, having to keep up with an ISO. So when Tatum drives, you'll notice that Jrue is in a dunker spot, and this isn't because he can't shoot the 3, but Tatum can drop it off to him to make a play, which we will see later in the video. But since Luka decided to help so deep, JT can now wrap it back to Horford on the 3, who ends up missing, but this shows you the options they have out this scenario. Early now in the game, we've already seen how both teams are scheming, so remember earlier how they would switch all screens with Al? Well, when Porziņģis is in, the Celtics would either blitz the screen or go into drop coverage instead, and this is where the Mavs could truly see some success. When coming off right here, Luka gets rushed immediately, allowing him to split the gap to break past, and with some ridiculous shot making, he double clutches the shot to knock down the bucket. This time down, instead of rushing him, Porziņģis plays drop, giving him all this space, and with a guy like Luka, any amount of space is just too much. The key is to crowd Doncic, not give him any room to operate, because here's where he can use that snake dribble to make it hard for his man to recover. Porziņģis now steps up, allowing Luka to attack his hip, but then he pulls on the brakes to step back behind the line and nails a 3 in your face. It's very difficult to play Doncic in drop coverage, simply because he can now get to wherever he wants, or even have guys open on the floor. Now don't for one second think they were picking on Porziņģis, because he stepped in meaning business despite some of these defensive mistakes. When Doncic gets in the paint, pulling him in and dumping it off to Jones Jr., Porziņģis is able to turn around quickly to recover and then make this layup aside difficult. You see some of the Mavs players attack the rim with aggression to make a statement, but then we're left questioning why they even tried. And just when you think you're about to get a highlight for Instagram, Porziņģis says, yeah, okay, pose for the game. Although we've seen those times where Doncic could exploit KP, it's hard for anyone else to do it that efficiently, because if you don't make the read at the right time and try to go up with him, well, he's actually a better shot blocker than you think. I mean, you tell me, when we see Kyrie Irving come off these screens with space in that mid-range, how many times do we see him get blocked? And also, how many times do you see a player backpedaling to then still get a hand on a mid-range jumper? Yeah, it's quite ridiculous, I know. Porziņģis came into the game showing everyone that he's arrived, but not just on one end of the floor. When he was getting the ball at his operating desk, you truly had no choice but to foul, and I'll show you why. With a massive height advantage on a lot of players, when he catches at his desk, it's only right he clocks in and starts putting in work. It's not just one time though, because he'll come back from lunch break and clock right back in, getting back to where he left off. During game 1, Porziņģis was leaving nothing on his plate, so that's why you'll see Lively up on him tight, but when there's food in sight, there's food that must be ate. And trust me, when I say in sight, I'm talking about 20/20 vision, because from 30 feet out, if you don't step up, then Porziņģis will let it fly. The KP eruption was so much fuel to this Boston Celtics team who has already been on fire, but it wasn't just a crazy performance from KP that made this game a thing of beauty. Earlier we talked about Dallas's bigs being out on the perimeter and Jrue Holiday playing in this dunker spot. Well, right here this allows Tatum to get to the rim with no other rim protector to beat, so when Kyrie does help, this right here is a read that becomes available, so PJ Washington is gonna slide down, giving up this wide open 3 to Derek White. It's truly dangerous to get caught in help positioning against a team with all shooters in the field, because once one is located, it's a simple lock, load, and fire. You'll see the Mavericks double Tatum here, but with everyone spread along the 3-point line, as long as the ball keeps moving, it'll find an open man and it's straight cash. Some people will say, okay duh, it's simple ball movement, but no, it's not that simple. It's really that the Celtics have 5 guys on the court who can all shoot the ball, which allows so much spacing, so when Tatum sees 1 shooter and 2 shooter, knowing the defense doesn't want to help, he can use this shimmy to break free from Irving to go punch this home. This shooting power forces guys to stay home more and have to step up high in pick and rolls, because if they don't, well, you're allowing 3 more points on the board. Not only were they abusing the spacing, but they were taking it at Doncic as well, so in 2 back-to-back possessions, Brown takes it at Luka to first convert on this tough bucket over Gafford, but on the second time down, Brown comes off the screen and changes directions quickly, throwing Luka out the way, and then soars in for the poster slam. It was pretty much just go at Luka when you have the ball, because once you collapse the defense when getting to the paint, well, here's your drop off for an easy bucket. Now just because you can pick on him doesn't mean he won't fight back. In the ISO game, Luka was getting wherever he desired and got a comeback started when down big. With the Celtics big guarding guys on the 3, it allows the paint to be free for Luka or Irving to attack, so once they got past their initial defender, it's really up to them to knock down the shot. Like I said, pick on somebody for so long, you're gonna get punched back, as Luka strips the ball from Tatum here to go the other way, and then a couple possessions later, Kyrie gets tired of the boos from the crowd and uses that handle to sauce up Al Horford for the bucket. With the energy now shifted in their favor, Luka goes back to attacking Al Horford to get the bucket off the pick and roll, and then the next time down, when he gets the switch on White, he uses the step back 3 to shoot right over the top of him. As much as some people hate to say it, it looked like the Mavs found a groove against the Celtics as Luka held his own stripping Porziņģis, and then Kyrie Irving used that beautiful cross the lane fadeaway over Porziņģis to cut the lead to 11. After seeing some shots fall, it was nothing but confidence from the Mavs, and after seeing this pull up from Doncic, we were sure to be in for a game. But who are we kidding? That was not the case. After the Celtics got the offensive rebound here and found Porziņģis on the cut to the rim, it was like the energy was sucked away from Dallas, and then Jaylen Brown made sure there was not even a little bit left by blocking this dunk attempt. Truly a beautiful outing from the Boston Celtics. The Mavs may have found their footing a little bit, but only game 2 will tell, as the Celtics are now up 1 in great fashion.